Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Um, all right, let me be real with you for a minute, okay? One thing I absolutely cannot stand on YouTube right now is fake tech tubers. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The ones who speak with total confidence, throwing around the big words, read specs off a screen, but when you really listen closely, they don't actually understand what they're talking about. And the worst part, people are making buying decisions based on that bad information. Now look, I'm not saying you have to be an electrical engineer to talk about PC hardware or gaming. I'm not. Nobody starts as an expert. We all learn. I've been doing this since the early 90s. I'm only 42, by the way. But anyway, there's a huge difference between learning and sharing your experience and pretending to be an authority when you're not. And that difference matters because PC hardware is expensive right now. Very expensive. Graphics cards, motherboards, power supplies. This stuff is not cheap. A single bad recommendation can cost somebody hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. And when misinformation spreads, it wastes money, kills performance, and frustrates gamers who just want their system to run right. I mean, that's all they want. So here's one of the biggest red flags I see all the time: confidence without understanding. You'll hear someone they'll say things like, "Just upgrade your CPU and your FPS will double," or "This GPU is trash," or "You need 1,000 watts for this build." What? But they never explain why. They don't talk about bottlenecks. They don't mention thermals. They ignore power efficiency. They don't test different scenarios. They just make bold claims based off nothing. Off maybe what they like, not something they know about. So they hope nobody questions them, because if you question them, you're getting blocked, you're getting cussed out, and sometimes they have little minions, little followers, and they'll try to attack you, and you just have to swat them like flies. But and another problem is what I call spec sheet reading. Some creators literally open up a product page, read the numbers out loud, and act like they've done deep research, like they have hands-on experience. But knowing that a CPU has 16 cores doesn't automatically mean it performs better for gaming. Knowing a GPU has more VRAM doesn't mean it's faster. Context matters. Workload matters. Optimization matters. Real knowledge comes from testing, comparing, failing, and learning. It's not just repeating what the box says. And then there's the sponsorship issues. And guess what? I don't have any reason to lie on here. I don't make any money off YouTube. I run my own computer business. I build, fix, you name it, I do it. I don't make a dime off of YouTube. But the sponsorships are not the problem. They're not the problem. Creators deserve to get paid. Running a channel takes time, money, effort. If I made money off YouTube, I might put more effort into my videos. I do the bare minimum. If it takes off, it takes off. I'll put money into it. I'll get a camera, this and that. But the moment someone starts hiding flaws, exaggerating performance, or pushing products they clearly haven't tested, that's when trust gets broken. If every product is amazing, if every review sounds like an advertisement, it's there. If there's any criticism, that's not a review, that's marketing. And here's why this matters to you. Bad tech advice doesn't just waste money, it can ruin your experience. You might build a system that overheats. You might buy parts that don't work well together. You might spend extra performance you'll never use. Of course, you might think PC gaming is the problem. W- But really, it was just bad guidance. That's what it was. So, what should you do? Be selective about who you trust. Look for creators who show real benchmarks and testing, admit when they're wrong, explain their reasoning, compare multiple options, talk about downsides, not just upsides. Focus on education, not hype. And most importantly, look for consistency. You know a couple out there, Frog. Uh, I won't name them all, but you know who I'm talking about. Frog's one of the main ones. There's a few other ones. I'll throw a little hint. It sure is a bang. But anyway, real experts don't need to shout. They don't rely on clickbait. They don't pretend to know everything. They stay curious. They keep learning. You, this, Go ahead and learn everything. You don't know what's coming up. You have to learn about that hardware when it comes. You always gonna learn. So watch people who continue learning. They respect their audience. Here's a simple rule I live by, on here at least. If someone can't explain something clearly, they probably don't understand it deeply. And that applies to tech, gaming, and honestly, life in general, any channel. So at the end of the day, this isn't about gatekeeping at all. This isn't attacking other creators. It's about protecting viewers. There's going to be people, young people, old people that don't know any better, listen to people like Frog or whatever, and they get bad advice and then they're stuck with it. He's not stuck with it. He's getting the views. That's all he cares. That's all they care about. So your time matters. Your money matters. And your gaming experience matters. So do your research. Watch multiple sources. I'm not saying watch me. I'm saying uh, be careful who you watch. Ask questions and never assume competence equals competence. And if you've ever been burned by bad tech advice before, trust me, you're not alone. I see them in people's comments on the daily. So just stay smart, stay curious. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.